If you are waiting for motivation to come to you, I think you have it backwards. After uploading 25 YouTube videos, I realized a lot about motivation. I'm starting to realize that you can't just wait until you feel like doing it. And motivation actually requires you to take action to get some of it. So today I want to share with you my 5 realizations about motivation. Number 1, motivation is a muscle. Think of motivation like going to the gym. It requires ongoing maintenance. But when you build the momentum and you get really used to it, then it's going to be easier to go to the gym over time as you build that motivation muscle. At the start of the year, everyone's motivation is a bit higher. We all have our new goals that we want to start. And then February and March hits. And then no one is at the gym anymore. Okay, not no one, but January is significantly busier than February and March. We have to remember that motivation isn't about feeling like we want to do something. It's about training ourselves to do the thing even on days we don't feel like it. Now, there's this whole talk about consistency. And I have to say that consistency isn't doing the thing every day. So let's say you decide to want to incorporate more exercise into your life. You don't have to start off with doing it every single day. Doing it every single day doesn't mean consistency. I mean, it could mean consistency for you, but I recommend starting with sustainable consistency over intensity. And what I mean when I say that is I would rather see you start an exercise practice, a yoga practice once every month, once every week, if that fits in your schedule and you can imagine yourself doing that for a long time. Because there's no point of doing something every single day just for the fact of us doing it every single day, and then a month later, we completely don't even do the thing anymore. So instead of that, I would rather you decrease your goal, make the frequency less, and stay consistent with that. Because once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month is more consistent than going all in and then completely stopping for the rest of the year. Remember, we got to do something that's sustainable and that works for you in your current lifestyle. Point number 2 is use Parkinson's law to your advantage. If you haven't heard of Parkinson's law, it is work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So what does that mean? If you give yourself a week deadline to complete that task, even though it's going to take you 1 day, you're gonna take a week. If you tell yourself you want to complete that task in 3 months, even though you can complete it in 2 days, you're going to take that much longer. If you only give yourself an hour to finish that task, you'll probably finish that task in an hour. So how can we take advantage of this Parkinson's law? The 2 ways that I like to take advantage of it is set a few personal deadlines for some goals that you have in your life and push it a little bit earlier than you would want to finish so that you can build the momentum to finish it sooner. And number 2, I really like Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is basically setting focused time to do work. So you can put a timer on for 25 minutes, focus on that work, take a 5-minute break, go back to another 25 minutes. It doesn't have to be 25 minutes. It could be starting with 10, it could be 15, it could be 30. However long you can focus for at that time. If you feel like you are able to focus for 1 hour, sure, put an hour. But for me, around 20 to 35 minutes usually works. And if I'm really in a flow of work and it's at the 25-minute mark, I will continue for a little bit longer. But otherwise, if I'm feeling like a bit tired, then I will take that break. Time blocking also sometimes works for people. I am on and off with this. Basically, time blocking is putting down the tasks that you will do onto your schedule. So like from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm going to do this. From 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. I'm going to do this. And I find that when I do try that, it is a little bit hard for me to stick to it because I haven't developed enough knowledge of how long things actually take for me. So I think before you get into time blocking, you would have to have a really strong idea of how long tasks actually take you. And I think if you are doing the Pomodoro technique, over time, you're gonna develop an understanding of how long it's going to take you to do certain tasks. And so I'm not at the point where I'm time blocking yet, but it is something that I want to develop more information with. I want to understand how long it actually takes me to script a video, for example, or how long does it actually take me to edit a video. All these things will make it easier for me to manage my time in the future. Point number 3, set boundaries with yourself and have a few rules that you follow. It's really easy for motivation to fade if we don't have any set of rules that we follow. I like to create really simple personal rules that I can keep. For example, I don't let myself have any longer than 2 days without physical activity. So if it's been 2 days, it's time to get back on track, because I know myself that if it becomes 3 days, it's going to become 4 days, it's going to become 5 days, and then all of a sudden, I no longer have that habit. Another rule that's really helpful is I'm going to stop eating after 9 p.m. Starting off with just a few rules in your life, and you can build over time, because how do you catch yourself when you're falling off? For example, when it comes to weight management, I notice that like if I creep up to a certain weight, I know it's time for me to do a little check-in. Have I been stressed more? Have I been not sleeping well? Just learning and gathering information and having check-in points with ourselves is really helpful. Otherwise, it's so easy to let the days pass and all of a sudden we're like, whoa, what just happened that year? Like YouTube, I was meaning to start a YouTube channel. I mean, thinking about it for, who knows, like 10 years or so. And although this is my second attempt, I have tried to start before. We always wish we started earlier, right? So what's the second best time besides 10 years ago? It is now. Number 4, go back to your why and remind yourself of the benefits of the thing that you're doing. If you're struggling with motivation, really think hard about what was the original reason why you started. And you can ask yourself things like, what is the long-term consequence if I never start this thing that I said I was going to start? And then ask yourself, what's the best case scenario if I do start? And in most cases, when you answer these questions, you'll start to realize that there's more benefits to just starting. So for me, some of the ongoing benefits of starting a YouTube channel is communication, practicing being in front of a camera, learning to edit, learning to design, expanding my network, solidifying my thoughts, storytelling, scripting. The list really goes on. And if I kept waiting and waiting until it felt like it, well, I probably wouldn't be at my 25th video. Number 5, have some words and values that you can live by. Your values can change over time, which is why I like to have New Year resolutions to really think about what my focus is this year. What really helps is I created a wallpaper on my phone of the things I really want to focus on this year. Some of the words which I constantly look at to remind myself for the things I want to focus on are intention, create, consistency, courage, and creativity. So you can see in this mini vision board that I have 4 pictures. I have one of like money and growth. I do want to build more wealth this year and pay off some debt. I do want to focus on my health and fitness, running, and also at the gym. And in this picture, you'll see 100K here because I really want to manifest 100K subscribers. So really think about what words bring you motivation and what values do you want to live by. So the 5 key takeaways today is 1, motivation is a muscle. It builds with action. 2, use Parkinson's law and the Pomodoro technique. Set deadlines for yourself and schedule in focused work time. 3, set some boundaries and rules to live by. Create some non-negotiable rules so you can stay more consistent. 4, go back to why you started this and really remind yourself of the bigger picture. And finally, 5, have some words and values that you can live by so you can stay aligned and intentional. Motivation isn't just about waiting for that feeling. It's really about building that momentum and building that trust and confidence with yourself. Remember to start small. Think about sustainable consistency and slowly watch your motivation become more consistent. If this resonated with you, I would love for you to comment below on one thing that you've been meaning to start. Let's hold each other accountable. According to a study by Dr. Gail Matthews, who is a psychology professor at the Dominican University of California, that found that people who wrote down their goals and outlined their action steps and then even shared with a friend were 76% successful at reaching their goals. That's pretty good to me. If it takes just a few minutes to do those things to have a 76% success rate, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!